NFL playoff weekend, and we've got two very smart people with us from WagerTalk.com, Andy Lang and Rob Vino. We are talking Ravens at the Bills, 8:15 Eastern time on Saturday night. Bills about a 2-point favorite. Ravens total, the game total, is a 50. We'll start with you, Rob. Tight spread here, but do you think the monkey's off the back of the Buffalo Bills and they play a little freer on Saturday evening?
It's possible, Matt. How much of that monkey on the back was due to the way Indianapolis played? I guess we'll find out this coming week. But I'll say this. This is a completely different matchup for each one of these defenses. I mean, if you're the Ravens, you go from playing the ball control Tennessee Titans, who you gear your defense to stop the running game, and then work from there. And now you're going to play Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, a team that barely attempts to run the football. So it's a totally different matchup for the Ravens, and we'll see if they handle it. They took Derrick Henry out of the game last week, 18 carries, 40 yards, 2.2 per carry. Ryan Tannehill, without play action, was pretty much beat at that point in time. They play, this Wink Martindale gets a lot of credit for these blitzes and man-to-man coverage. But against Josh Allen and all these weapons, I wonder if that works, guys. You take Humphrey and you stick him on Diggs. But then what do you do with Gabriel Davis? What do you do with Cole Beasley? What do you do with John Brown? What do you do with Dawson Knox? What do you do with the back out of the backfield? I mean, Baltimore's got a severe amount of options to cover here this week that they didn't have to worry about last week in the passing game. So it's really different for the Ravens. And I know that people believe most what they saw last, and they want to follow and bet what they saw last. And there's a huge Ravens bandwagon building here. Just not sure that it's going to be as smooth as people think it's going to be. You want to talk about predictability. And guys, I had to go through the play-by-play to get this. Every single series that the Tennessee Titans ran. But they had 16 first down plays in that game. They ran the football 11 out of 16 times. They made life real easy on Baltimore. 3 of those plays that weren't runs were a pass in a 2-minute drill before halftime, and then 2 more first down passes on their final possession of the game when they were trailing and trying to catch up. So basically, they just came out and said, 1st and 10, we're going to run. Baltimore smacked it, and it just went on all game long. Won't happen here against this team. Man-to-man coverage, too. Probably if Josh Allen doesn't have anybody to throw to, nobody's looking at him, he can take off. So I think Baltimore's going to give up points here. But the other side of the coin, same thing, right? For Buffalo, you get Lamar Jackson instead of Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, a sitting duck in the pocket. Buffalo sacked him 0 times. Interestingly, Lamar Jackson gets sacked 5 times last week by the worst pass rush in the NFL. But Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore running game went for 236 last week. We saw Indianapolis run on Buffalo. Indianapolis, Phillip Rivers lit them up through the air. We'll see if Lamar Jackson, who only threw for about $165 last week, can take advantage of that. I see a lot of points here, guys. Both of these teams. Now, the weather's going to be about 31, 32, I think I saw, for game time, about 8:15 to midnight. So I don't think the weather comes into play much here. I just think both offenses are well suited for the defenses that they're going to face. And 50, they're going to give us 51 as a pretty key number, 27, 24, those types of numbers. I'll take it. I think over 50. And if I had to lean sideways, I think I'd lean towards Buffalo minus less than a field goal, which they are right now, simply because I think they have more big play options in that passing game.
Andy, we've seen the Lamar Jackson prop for his rushing cash week after week, no matter how high they set it. How do you factor that into a Buffalo team that seemingly practices against Josh Allen all the time and has seen mobile quarterbacks before?
Well, you can practice against Josh Allen, but then when you play against Lamar Jackson, that's a whole different animal. I actually think that this is the worst matchup for Buffalo. I actually think Buffalo matches up better against Kansas City than they do the Ravens. The Bills gave up 163 yards rushing to the Colts last weekend. Phillip Rivers threw for over 300 yards. And the Colts were live dogs the entire game. They had many chances to win that game. The Ravens rushed for 236 yards last week against the Titans. And In the regular season, Buffalo gave up over 122 yards rushing a game, and they're in the division with the Dolphins and the Jets. So their defense, you can absolutely run on them. I think this is a nightmare matchup for the Buffalo defense. Baltimore in the regular season, they only gave up 221 yards passing a game. Don't underestimate the loss of Zach Moss. Zach Moss never ran for huge plays or huge gains, but when he was in the game, you at least had the threat of being able to run. And now that is gone. And Singletary is not scaring anybody on the Baltimore defense. Last 3 games, Buffalo and Baltimore are top 8 in terms of first half scoring offenses. So from a props perspective, I'm definitely going to be looking at rushing props, probably Lamar Jackson. I'm going to Rob. I think the offensive against these defense. I think the first half is going to be lights out with points. I think you're going to see Lamar run all over the place. J.K. Dobbins could be involved. I think Hollywood Brown props are going to be great. I would look at Mark Andrews to catch a touchdown. And on the opposite side, I thought Cole Beasley, even though they said he was hurt, he looked fine to me. Diggs was hurt. He was a little compromised, but he still played great. I see points galore in the first half. In the end, I think Baltimore wins this game, and to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if they won it by more than 2 scores. I just think this Buffalo Bills defense is ripe to be taken apart by a Baltimore Ravens running game that really hasn't been stopped. It's tough to slow them down, but it's really hard to stop them. And if Lamar gets going on the ground, I think Buffalo goes into panic mode, and that's right where Baltimore wants them to be. I love the Ravens to beat the Bills, and I'm going to be taking some rushing props as my way to attack this game from a betting perspective.
Yeah, the Lamar Jackson props, as we said, have been money. They can't set these things high enough, and he can't stop running. You can find Andy Lang and Rob Vino on WagerTalk.com. I'm Matt Josephs. You can find me on SportsMemo.com. Bills and Ravens Saturday, 4:35. Don't forget, $2 Tuesday. Your chance to try out our favorite handicapper for $2 on both Sports Talk, our Sports Memo, and WagerTalk.com. Fellas, enjoy the game, and we'll be back with another video.